Now, let's talk about foreign affairs and internal affairs. Between 1792 to 1795, there were a few external and internal problems that the new nation was facing. First is the French Revolution. When France declared war with Europe, some of the European country powers, President Washington declared neutrality. What does he mean? Well, he did not want to get involved. But because there were still trades by merchants happening between the Americans and the French from the West Indies, and the British decided to retaliate on this and began to capture American merchant ships and force their crews to serve to British Navy. Now, John Jay, a great lawyer, decided then that he was going to negotiate a treaty in 1794. This is the second important aspect of early foreign affairs, known today as diplomacy or what we call diplomatic agreements. John Jay wanted to calm the conflict within the sea and the treaty with Britain, but the thing is that John Jay were criticized for doing this, for all his efforts, and many saw this as the only way to worsening the U.S. international relations. But the Senate accepted it anyway under the circumstances. Now, let's talk about the Treaty of Spain in 1795. Thomas Pinckney was invited to Madrid to settle some issues with the Spanish courts regarding the deteriorating positions on the American frontier. The result was that Pinckney Treaty, quote-unquote Pinckney Treaty, was ratified by the Senate, and internally, what happened there is that in 1796, that treaty was discussed in the Senate, they were talked about it, and in this agreement, the Spanish would open the Mississippi River to the American traffic, including the right to use the port of, back then, New Orleans. Internally, Indian tribes on the northwest and the southwest borders were having problems with American settlers trying to take their lands. In 1794, General Anthony Wade decisively defeated the Indians in the Battle of Fallen Timbers and the resulting Treaty of Greenville. Now, you can see here, this is the actual map where you could see some of the territories of the French. So New Orleans is over here, but let's continue talking about the Indians. And you look at the Indian country here, And remember that back then, the United States was mostly here on the East Coast. All right. So the Indians at the Battle of the Treaty, the battles of the Fallen Timber, and the resulting Treaty of Grenville cleared the Ohio territory of the Indian tribes. What happened next? In 1794, the Whiskey Rebellion, started to emerge. What happened during that particular rebellion? This was another test, during Washington's administration. When the Western farmers refused to pay tax on whiskey, which formed the backbone of Hamilton's revenue program, chaos started. That is the start of the Whiskey Rebellion. Then the farmers terrorized the tax collectors. They basically abused them verbally. Some of them got into some really, really bad violence. President Washington was not having it. So he sent out military to deal with the 15,000 men, and because of that conflict between the army and those of the people in the farms who were not paying taxes on whiskey, the rebellion started. Nevertheless, they ended up paying what they owe to the federal government. Now, this was very important during the first administration of the president. He wanted to impose taxes, but also he wanted to implement them and make sure that people, including the farmers, are doing this at the right time, okay, and that they're following policy. And because he was successful of doing this, policies started to become stronger and stronger in the new society.